Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims info/thoughts video. So this one's going to be entirely focused on the live stream for Jungle Adventure that took place today, which focused on the new world of Selvadorada. So let's get started. To start things off, wow, this world, I love it. It looks so gorgeous. And it's divided into 3 districts, and they do have descriptions, just like what we got with City Living and Cats and Dogs. This first district is the Puerto Yamante Marketplace. Come enjoy the sights and sounds of Selvadorada. Pack some gear before heading out to the jungle, or relax and experience the different food and culture. Swing by the marketplace right by the cantina. The second district is called the Balamacia Jungle. I don't know if that's how you say it, but the description says the jungle is teeming with wondrous sights and hidden dangers. Brave adventurers can explore the ruins of the ancient Amaskans. Skilled Sims and those equipped with gear from the marketplace will do well here. And then the last one is the jungle itself. Determined explorers who forge a path through thick jungle can uncover secluded spots where rare treasures can be found. Local legends describe a temple that mystically rearranges itself hidden deep in the Amaskan ruins. So overall, this world is definitely bigger than Granite Falls from Outdoor Retreat, which, even though I love Outdoor Retreat, I'm really glad that they are making this world bigger, especially since there is more of a focus on adventure this time around. And it is interesting how when you hover over the jungle district, it comes up with all these question marks, which shows you all these different areas that you can find. They're not places that you can directly travel to from the map, but it's just pointing out all of these different little areas that you can discover yourself. And one thing that Selvadorada has that Granite Falls does not have is a 64 by 64 lot, as SimGuru Megs has confirmed on Twitter that the museum lot is that size, so I'm looking forward to seeing what builders will create there. And here's what the map icon looks like when you go to travel there or if you're in Managed Worlds, and I love this. It looks really colorful. I love how there's the sunset in the background. It's really nice. I don't know if it's my favorite out of all of them, but still, I think they did a really good job on this. And on the subject of these map icons, actually, let me know in the comment section below which one is your favorite so far. Sometimes I just like to go to Managed Worlds and watch these animations. I'm trying to decide where to go next. It's oddly relaxing for me. Am I the only one? So how the traveling thing works is pretty similar to what we already got before at the Outdoor Retreat, where you go to this new vacation world and you can choose to rent one of the villas in this world. They have the same icons as the rental lodges in Granite Falls. There's no campgrounds, but I'm pretty sure we can just bring tents along if we have Outdoor Retreat and just plop them down wherever we can. Some of the villas look kind of like hostels, like this one here, which can also be considered a research station. Or you can rent something a little more romantic looking, like this one right here. Also, there's at least 2 new lot traits. There's Creepy Crawlies and Peace and Quiet. The Creepy Crawlies one, I think, is probably self-explanatory. If you have that lot trait, then there's a chance that your sim can get bitten by spiders. But Peace and Quiet, I don't know, what could that lot trait do that we can't really already have? I'm not sure, so we'll have to see what that one entails. But I am glad that we are getting some more lot traits that do something a little bit more unique than just giving your sim a buff or increasing their skills a little bit faster, because I don't feel like there's enough unique lot traits. My favorite one in the game right now is actually Quake Zone from City Living, because that's the only way to have earthquakes in your game. And they did reveal one interesting buff that gives you a flirty mood, where it's called Feeling the Falls, and it says something about being in the wilderness with this beautiful waterfall really gets a sim in the mood for romance. So definitely a good place, I think, to take some really romantic honeymoon pictures. And it turns out the cantina is not a completely new venue type as I initially thought. It's just a bar venue that has specialized rules when placed in the world of Selvadorada. And I just wanted to point out right here, there's a new round table that seats up to 6 Sims, so I'm really glad that we're getting more of these. We got one with Laundry Day stuff, and now we're getting one here. And now you can see a Sim busting some new moves included with this pack. And I asked SimGuru Ninja if they're just pulled off randomly, or if you have to learn them from the locals, or if you can just choose the new dance specifically from the pie menu. But it turns out that you need a high enough Selvadoradian culture skill to pull this off, and the moves are run randomly. While I do like that you need this new skill to acquire the dance moves, I wish you could just choose it from the pie menu once you've learned it. So if any modders out there watching this video, once this game pack is out, I'd love to see a mod that makes it so that you can have an interaction that specifically calls on these animations. I think that would be really fun. But what about new music to dance to? Well, there's 2 new radio stations, and now we know what they are. There's Latin pop and traditional Latin. So that's pretty cool. I like that there's both like the kind of Latin that appeals to a broader audience, but then you have the more cultural specific kind of Latin as well. So it is good that we're getting Latin back in The Sims 4. That's been something that's part of The Sims since the beginning. And going back to the new Selvadoradian culture skill, what that can do is it'll help make haggling more successful at the food stalls the higher your skill is, and it can also get you stuff from the marketplace at a cheaper price. I do find it interesting that this culture skill is specific to Selvadorada, and while that didn't really make sense to me at first, because, well, what if they add like a Polynesian world later on where you could learn culture from there? I guess it does make more sense that it is specific to Selvadorada, because just because you may be very fluent in one sort of culture doesn't mean you're fluent in all cultures, so I guess that is a good thing. So maybe we'll get more culture-related skills later on, but I don't know, we'll just have to see if that happens. Adding on to that cultural feel, there's a whole bunch of new foods inspired by Latin America, and you can see most of them here, and I'm always glad to get more food. And I'm assuming that these will be available on restaurant menus if you own the Dine Out game pack as well, so even more choices for international themed restaurants. As for other stuff that you can find in this world, a couple of the new harvestables have been revealed. The avocado tree is what you can see right here. Yes! I love avocado. I'm so glad this is in The Sims 4. And SimGuru Ninja also confirmed on Twitter that there's black beans, and the third is so cool that they want to wait to reveal that during the temple live stream next week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. Maybe it's something like the flame fruit from The Sims 3? I don't know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And there are a couple of entirely new collection types as well, including ancient Omaskin artifacts and Omaskin treasures. So let's talk a bit more about how you can get to the question mark areas. Well, you have to click on these gates, which are sort of like rabbit holes at first, where you go in, and then it's a little bit like when you try to find the Hermit Shack in Granite Falls, where you get these different chance cards, except these ones are a little bit more illustrated, where they actually have pictures, and then you actually end up in the area afterwards. And in the case of this plane crash site here, there was no loading screen. It was just panning the camera up and then there you go, your sim is right there. So that's a nice little touch. I'm glad that they managed to pull that off, because it does make the world feel a bit more open than it would have otherwise. You still have a loading screen when you jump between the town and the jungle, but at least they have managed to reduce the loading screens quite a bit. One other important thing to keep in mind is that not all of these pathways will be open every single time you go to this world. So sometimes you will have to come back if you want to explore a certain part of the world. So that is kind of interesting. I think that does kind of increase the replay value in a way. So you won't be able to see everything on your first try. Although, on the flip side, that could be annoying, because maybe you do want to like make a machinima or take pictures in a certain place, but then it's like, oh well, now I gotta keep traveling and coming back and hoping that area is open next time. So yeah, that could be really annoying. But maybe modders can find a way around that too. And two other things that are helpful for survival is the return of the shower in a can, which this time is actually the waterfall in a bottle, and there is some spider repellent as well. By the way, if your sim does need a bathroom break, there is a new design for the woohoo bush in this pack as well, so there's some of those scattered throughout the jungle. If you want your sims to cook a meal while out in the wilderness, there is a new grill, and you can use it to cook some good old barrel meat, as Simguru Ninja was joking about, and Simguru PJ did post this picture of it in action later on Twitter. And while you are out in the wilderness, you may find these dig sites, and if you have a high enough archaeology skill, then you have two options here. There's the normal excavate option, which is just digging through it, but then you can also establish the excavation site with the higher archaeology skill. So then, if you do that, you'll set up a little fencing around it, and then multiple sims can dig at it at the same time. And then you may find some artifacts, so you need to authenticate them, and you can do that with the new workbench. So you can have it in your inventory, place it in the world, then you have to choose which artifacts you want to work on, then it's placed on the table, and your sim starts working away at it. It will take a while, but eventually your sim will be done, and you'll be able to see whether your artifact is real or fake, and it can have varying degrees of quality as well. They did show off a bit of gameplay with the skeletons too. So the guru showed off this very rare relic that they had to assemble with the top and a bottom, and the right kind of crystal as well. And this is what you use to summon the skeleton to you. And you do an animation that really reminds me of some kind of ritual. Like really, I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen anybody say, "This whole pack means that witches is definitely coming next." But then once the animation is done, you just put it down, and then the skeleton will appear a few seconds later. And this skeleton basically cleans your house for you. The skeleton was seen putting away toys, cleaning the bathtub, stuff like that. So it is, in a way, kind of like a new version of Bonehilda. There are some special interactions with the skeleton as well. Like you can learn skeleton jokes, and the skeleton can also play its ribs like a xylophone, which is pretty funny. It is also possible for your current sim or a different sim to get afflicted with this skeleton curse. And when that happens, you don't have to worry about their bladder, hunger, hygiene, and energy needs. You'll still have to worry about fun. But yeah, definitely makes playing as them a little bit easier. And this picture is what Simguru Ninja shared on the official forums, where he's having some skeletons build up the wellness skill from the Spa Day game pack. Because in case you didn't know, once you have the wellness skill high enough, you can use that to teleport. With that in mind, you can make traveling around the jungle much easier. By the way, speaking of curses, they did say on the stream that if you go up to this statue in the marketplace of Selvadorada, you can cure yourself of a curse, or at least hopefully you can. So I guess that is somewhat similar to how in the Sims 3 World Adventures, if you get afflicted with the mummy's curse, then you could go up to the Sphinx and then it could take the curse away from you. To briefly go over the Create a Sim stuff, they didn't show everything, but from what they showed here, I think is really nice. I think that here in particular is going to be really popular. Not sure about this one, but I really like how the style is done with the highlights. And apparently it was inspired by the parrots living in the jungle, so that's pretty funny. They did say there are birds flying around, so I'm looking forward to seeing all of them. The feminine stuff I think looks really great too. Lots of color and definitely goes with this new world. Before I end this video, there are a couple of other interesting things that I want to bring up. So before the end of the stream, they showed off this really nice collection case where there's a bunch of different slots where you can display whatever you want. They even said that some of the people who worked on cats and dogs like displaying pet poop in there. So yep, there's one idea if you want to go ahead and do that. But with the collection case, you can also do like all the things you can do with normal lights. So you can change the color of the light to be like pink or something if you really want to give it like its own unique color to stand out from the rest of the lights in the room. And you can engrave a plaque on there as well. And one good idea here is that you could populate your museums with some of these. And in my opinion, the museums are quite boring right now, so this could definitely breathe some new life into them. They also pointed out this new toddler bed, which is coming in the free update that'll be out right before the pack releases. But the bed is portable too, so you can easily take it into your inventory if you're maybe like playing as a family of explorers who have toddlers. And yeah, you can bring that with you, and it could especially be useful in Selvadorada or Granite Falls. But that's not all, as Simgrew Ninja mentioned that with this update, toddlers will be able to use the tents from Outdoor Retreat as well. And I am so happy to hear that. I know like me and a few other people were like, oh, it'd be nice if that happened, and honestly, I was never expecting them to actually go back and add that functionality, so they really surpassed my expectations here. And that wraps up another Sims info/thoughts video. Wow, that one took a lot more effort than I thought it was going to, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And overall, I am a lot more excited for Jungle Adventure now than I was before. I'm still not convinced that it's gonna top Vampires and Parenthood in my eyes, but it's probably gonna be a solid third place at least. But let me know in the comment section below what your favorite things in the live stream was. And I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.